We want to welcome you back once again, of course, to another broadcast where your thoughts really count. That's right. You and I know that your thoughts really matter. And that's one of the things that we project here at the Truth Session, that your thoughts really count. We appreciate you once again for being a part of the Truth Session. That's right, where we put you up on free game. And I like how the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander always project that, put you up on free game. And he has stated for such a long time that, listen, people are charging thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get information and to get the sound that you get right here in the Truth Session. But we don't charge you an astronomical amount of money. In fact, we don't charge you anything. We just ask that you donate. And of course, I'm sitting in the captain's seat for the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander, who's out on location today. And what I'm going to do, as soon as we really get into the meat of it, or on launch today, is I'm going to ask you to donate right away. And here's why. The one is out on location, and of course, we do this with painstaking effort, and we're always out in different venues, and we need your support. And so I want you to start a flow yourself and get that portion of it out of the way, allow you to tap into this and really sow to the Truth Session so that we can continue to build. Those of you who've been following us for a long time, you know that what we do is above board. We project the right image. We give back. We do things behind closed doors and behind the scenes that many people don't know about. We assist others in need. Those who are partaking in their own platform, their own podcasts and different things like that. We sow into it. We support. And so that's all we ask you to do. We're not charging you anything. And no donation is too big or too small. So that information is going to be placed on the timeline for you immediately so that you can sow to the Truth Session. Because listen, we do this out of love, out of appreciation for who you are. Not trying to charge you for information. Not charging you for that which we've labored over. But we're a family. And we want you to be a part of the family and continue to be a part of the family. And that means we open this realm up so that you can sow as well and be a part of it. Because listen, yes, we're doing the Truth Session, Wind Down Wednesday. Guess what? We sow into our own cause. Listen, if I can't sow into my own cause, I don't need anybody else sowing into it. So we all the family, that's right, sow into the Truth Session and Wind Down Wednesday. And listen, Wind Down Wednesday is such an amazing platform where we get to let our hair down, where we get to talk about grown folk conversation, where we get to talk about things that people generally don't go in depth with. We do it because we want to be fully informed. And we just get an opportunity just to release some information and take it to the height where it needs to be taken. Sometimes people glaze over information so as to not offend, so as to not project certain images. Well, we just want to project the right image. And I recall the one doing a conference called The Right Image is Everything. And that's right, the right image is everything. And so what we do here is project that right image, not only in appearance, but also in information. The right image is everything. Listen, we want to formally welcome you in the house. Again, the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander is on location. And we want you to know that this is for you, for me, for all of us. Not just for us, but it's for you. It's for me. It's for all of us. As the one always projects. That's right. This is for us. FUBU. For us, by us. We're going to be talking about something, but as we hit that share button, listen, I want you to continue to hit that share button, share the feed, let others know that the truth session is in session. Talking about the brain is a quantum carbon energy time system. But today we're talking about it's reloaded. That's right, reloaded. We've been talking about the brain. We've been talking about quantum principles. We've been talking about carbon. We've been talking about energy. We've been talking about time. And what I'm going to do here shortly is play some concepts, some ideas that we've been discussing for about 6 or 7 months now. I'm going to place them on the timeline. And listen, I want you to type those concepts that resonate with you the most. Give you an opportunity to participate in this, because I'm going to come back later and I'm going to do a scatter plot regarding your thoughts to see how all this mathematically connects. And then we're going to project the best line of fit, or the line of best fit. So in a second here, I'm going to place that on the timeline, and I want you to take, say, your top 5. Your top 5. And I want you to place that on the timeline. I'm going to do some statistics. Probably in the next broadcast, I'm going to gather that information and show you how we connect. The best line of fit, man, is deep, too deep to be steep. But once again, I am the master teacher, the quantum shifter, the shape shifter, the code breaker, baby, coming at your lab and living color with 2,400 watts of power in this hour. Yes, indeed. As you listen to the Sounds on Sound, that's right, by the Prince of Peace. Listen, I want you to get yourselves ready for a powerful broadcast. Again, FUBU, for us, by us. Oh, come on, hit that share button. Come on and talk to us today. We're just gonna take it down 1,000 notches, walk you through it, talk to you, talk about it, have a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation. Give me one quick second here. As the Prince of Peace comes into your hearing. Family, hit that share button. Hit that share button. We want to notify as many people as we possibly can so that we can launch and send this information in various venues, various locations. Let us know where you're hailing from. Let's do that. Come on, family. Let us know where you're hailing from today. Come on, talk to him. Come on. Yes. Listen, I just took the opportunity to donate to the Truth Session. That's right. Listen, if you have not donated to the Truth Session, please go ahead and do so and let us know when you've donated. We can shout you out if you so desire. Of course, we have anonymous donors who just donate to the Truth Session and Wind Down Wednesday. Don't want to be recognized. We appreciate you as well. We know you're doing it from your heart. And listen, we're not requiring a certain amount of money to do anything. But just as I stated in the beginning, listen, oftentimes the apostle, the prophet, the cosmic commander is out on location and of course needs your support. As long as I've been walking with him, I'm telling you, it has always been for you, for us, for him, for all of us. That's right, for me, for you, for all of us. And I use that phrase whenever I'm teaching, I'm working with students. I said, listen, this is for you, for me, and for all of us. We want to be on even keel with this information. So listen, if you're on even keel and if you love what we do and you've been loving what we've been doing for the past month, take a moment real quickly and hit that place of 1 on the timeline. Let's do that real quickly. Just place a 1 on the timeline to let all of us know. Those of you also who are on Facebook, with YouTube, if you're with us and you've been enjoying yourselves these past few weeks, past few months with Wind Down Wednesday and also with the Truth Session, put a place of 1 on the timeline. We want to take this moment real quickly just to shout out our constituents. The intuitive one, Craig Levering. Always a joy and a pleasure to be in his presence, a part of the Truth Session and Wind Down Wednesday. Our very own number one life coach, as the one says, the number one KP, Kimberly Purdue. Also our brother T. Swin, Kate, and J. Bean. Men Can't Always Be Wrong podcast. And Story Time with T. Swin. Awesome book out. That's right, Love is for Suckers. And if he comes in the house, I know he's going to place that information on the timeline. Rosalind Severn McLean. That's right. Always doing something big. And listen, just received an award, except for her books. That's amazing. One of them is Ocean of Thoughts and other things that she's doing. Listen, you need to dial in and tap into that wonderful source of information. But let's jump right into this, and I won't be before you long. I just want to go back and reload this, everybody. We dealt with this last week, and we had a few technical difficulties, but we want to come back and reload that information because I think it's very pertinent and important that we receive it in a platform where we can flow with. We've been talking about flow. Just dealing with the brain itself, how it is completely a carbon, quantum, energy, time system. And if you look at all the components we've dealt with, you can see how our brain operates quantumly. You can see how it operates in time, how we deal with discontinuity where we can escape a linear flow, where we can rise above it, yet create a space and place and time to get us from to and fro. Where we need, wow, that rhymed, I didn't try to do that. Boy, as a poet and didn't know it. Well, we try to go from to and fro in time, and then we realize that we don't have to stay on this conveyor belt, that we can leap. We don't have to be on this escalator, but we can be riding up an escalator and jump. Or we can remove ourselves and get to the next height on this escalator. We can create a line of best fit. We've been talking about that. And that's what this information is geared toward, getting you to a place where here you are at a certain level, and then you hear something else and you can leap, and you don't have to take the old baggage with you. We all go through something, but it's not for us to stay in that state. It's for us to leap, to disconnect, retool, re-energize, revitalize, go to a place of infinity. Infinity is negative and positive, so we can go negatively to that place and then come back in time. We can go reverse and then we can come forward. Palagenesia, we've talked about that. And we see here that Katie Royal Rain has placed the donation methods on the timeline. Listen, some of you might have come in a little bit later in this broadcast, but go ahead and hit that share button and also donate to the Truth Session. Formally, let me just say, Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum, Imhotep, Abaragani, Amani Kaka, Amani Dada, Hola, and Bonjour. Real quickly, let me drop this on the timeline because I want to place something in your eye gaze to show you how vast this information has grown, expanded like space. It has expanded. Watch this. I'm going to drop this information on the timeline. And as I said, I would love for you to participate because it's going to show you some very, very powerful things. And I just want you to put 5 of them that has really resonated with you. Watch this. This is deep. When you see how much information we've received, listen, figuratively speaking, it's going to blow your mind. If you can see that information, if you can see those topics and concepts, come on in. Give me a 2. If you can see that in the comment section, I just want you to take a moment and digest this. I just want to talk to you for a second. That's all I want to do. I just want to talk to you. If you can see that, let me go ahead and put my 2 in it. I put it in there, put my 2 cents in it. As our foreparents used to say, we put my 2 cents in it. If you can see that, because I want you to understand how much information we've gotten, how much information we've gathered in, how much we really know and don't realize we know this much. And We've talked about this much information. So now, as I shared with you at the beginning, here's what I'm going to do. Throughout the week, I'm going to be gathering these facts as we do in math. Take this data, we tally this data. We create a graph, and then we note the line of best fit. And I want to do that to show us how well connected we are. So give me your top 5. Give me your top 5. And as I go throughout this broadcast, I'm going to show you the connectivity that we operate in. But here's where we are today. We've been talking about information that enlightens us, that brings us out of darkness, brings us out of a dark time world. And if you look at what's happening, time frame present, things appear to be dark. There's war in the political arena, in the judicial system, in the executive branch. That's war. We have wars and rumors of wars. I'm not talking about religiously, happening all over the world. Social media, there's war. Athletically, we've got commentators fighting and wrestling with athletes, making comments, saying things about their abilities or inabilities in their families. That's darkness. That's chaos, confusion. Well, that's a part of what we're talking about. It's just manifesting. I talked about that in the beginning. There was chaos, confusion, Koshak and the Hebrew. Darkness, confusion, chaos. There was no moment. There was no ability to sit back and breathe. There was no movement, no dipole moment. There was no spinning, no twirling, no twining. So what we're trying to do now is bring enlightenment in the midst of all of this darkness. So one of the things we dealt with in dealing with the mind being a quantum system, a brain system, a chemical system, is bringing enlightenment, talking about the carbon in our system. Watch this. Let's go back to this. Bringing enlightenment in a time of darkness by Bicos. We talked about this. System of eclipse. Again, I just want to talk to you. Talking about a system of eclipse. How darkness sometimes eclipses us. How people attempt to eclipse us. Yes. How people will eclipse you in a minute. All for the sake of appeasing someone else or attempting to be right, as opposed to just taking a moment to listen and hear attentively, not just to hear, but to hear attentively and intelligently. Active listening, as we call it in academia. We talked about when there is an eclipse. 3 concepts. Antumbre, penumbra, and umbre. These 3 concepts that play such a major part in our own development, how we see things, how we can navigate through this dark terrain, yet light is just waiting to manifest. In fact, it's already shining. It's already there. The deeper you go in the ocean, you're going to find 2 major things. A river. Yeah, that's right. You heard it right. A river at the deepest part of the ocean, you're going to find a river. And you're going to find light. And you're going to find things that will enlighten you. For example, the fish life. Totally different. They look totally different than the ones that are on the surface. Maybe 100 feet down, maybe 50 feet or 20 feet down. Listen, we're avid fishers. And there are times we have to put a heavier weight on our line so that it can sink. We call it a sinker. So that the line can go down and pick up those different types of fish that may not be dwelling on the surface. But we have to anchor it. And once that heavy and weighty information goes down, guess what? We win the prize. We get fed. So The deeper we go, we get fed. We get enlightened. Watch this. According to timeanddate.com, the antumbrate is the lighter part of a shadow that forms as a certain distance or at a certain distance from the object casting it or casting the shadow. So this antumbrate light is formed as an object casts a shadow on an object at a certain distance. It is involved in annular solar eclipses and planet transits as planets transit. Watch this. Like any other opaque objects illuminated by a light source, the moon and the earth cast shadows into space as they block the sunlight that hits them. Wow. So the earth and the moon cast a shadow as they block the sunlight that hit them. Each shadow has three different areas: the umbra, the penumbra, and the antumbra. Some enunciated antumbrate, penumbrate, or umbrate. However you enunciate it, those three areas are illuminated. But what's powerful about this is that it's a representation of our lives. Your life, my life. I told you, for you, for us, for all of us. For you, for me, and for all of us. So there are times when things cast a shadow upon us. That's right, darkness is cast upon us. And we're trying to see our way out. And the difficult part about all of this is that oftentimes we don't quantumly understand that in the midst of it, we are the light. We are the shining ones. We are the ones who are lighting the way for everybody else. So I come today to enlighten us, to connect the dots. And again, I am going to construct a line of best fit. So I'll be working on that throughout the week. So listen, if you have any questions, inbox me. If you have any questions, write even in the feed. Send that information, because I want to develop it throughout this week. Taking those data points. And that's what we do. Educationally, we take data points. And then we look back how students perform and see the areas where they need improvement. So that means we don't have to focus so much over here because they've mastered certain concepts. So we try to hit the ones that they're lacking. And then I talked about this just this week about outliers. We've had this conversation before. What are outliers? Outliers are those anomalies, things that happen in our lives that are actually a break from the norm. Something happens in our system, like in the movie Matrix, for example, when the cat showed up twice, and Neo looked back, like, wait a minute, he was going up the stairs, and Neo looked back and saw the cat twice. That was an anomaly in the system. Wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to be there. Sometimes we have those outliers that are not supposed to be there in our lives. And what we can do is get caught up with those outliers, focus on them, and make them the norm. Because if we do, it's going to skew or throw off our data. It may skew it left or skew it right. Those are probability and statistic terms. It may skew left or skew right. It may not have the perfect bell-shaped curve or make it the right sound. It may not make the right sound. The perfect bell curve is one that starts out evenly tall in the middle, and then it begins to branch down. See, made me go to the board. I was trying to hold off to get to the other part, but listen, I might as well go there now. Talking about a branch. Let me just show you this. Talking about a bell curve, it is the norm. A bell curve, we can liken it to making a sound. So a bell curve, and I want to put it around all this information because I'm going to go to it. Notice it's making an even distribution. It's making an even distribution in the middle, and we have this curve. So if we diagram it, it could be doing this. So if you look at it, it's actually in the shape of a bell. We call it a bell curve. So there's an even distribution. With things, we try to evenly distribute things in our lives so they won't skew to one side or the other. So if we did a graph and most of the information was just heavy to one side, it'll be skewed either left or right. Things are skewed. Things are off kilter. That's what darkness comes to do in our lives if we don't allow it to work as it should, or we don't understand the complexity of it, how it's going to work in our favor. When we don't understand that, we may skew left or skew right. Skew. I know I got a lot of information going on here, but I just want to talk to you. Let me get a good working skew. Let's see, skew right graph. Let me quickly look this up for you. Just want to walk you through this. Watch this. According to QMath.com, right skewed histogram, a histogram in which most of the data falls to the right of the graph's peak, is known as a right skewed histogram. It is also known as a positively skewed histogram. A right skewed histogram has a definite relationship between its mean, median, and mode. Well, what's mean, median, and mode? Mean is another word for average. It's right skewed on something that's supposed to be average. So there could be an average, and I use this in my classroom. What if the average age was between 13 and 14, maybe 13 and a half, say in an 8th grade class? So if I take data, say from a kid who might have walked in the room, might have been genius, 5 years old, or someone who didn't fare well, let's just say 36 years old in an 8th grade class where the average age is between 13 and 14. If you include the 5-year-old and the 36-year-old in your data and try to give an average, your information is going to be skewed. Why? Because you included the outliers, those things that just haphazardly, out of nowhere, entered into your system, into your matrix, to throw you off, to cause you to be frustrated, confused, bewildered, bamboozled. They throw your information off. What am I saying to you? Don't allow those things, those anomalies, to become your bell curve because they're skewed. They're off. Things are skewed, represent things being off, weighing to one side or the other side. Sometimes you got to throw those outliers. Well, all the time, you got to throw those outliers out the window. You know that if you're in a classroom with 8th graders or 7th graders, and you had an average age of 13 or 14, and your data end up being 20, 21-year-old, you know something's wrong. If a 21-year-old person is in a classroom with someone 13 or 14, that data has to be skewed somewhere. Somebody included the outliers. That's what happens in our lives. And what we end up doing is focusing on that darkness those little things that happen to us. Maybe some things that should not have happened, but somewhere it just, so to speak, it just happened out of nowhere. And then what we end up doing is making it our standard, our norm, and we start focusing on it. We start adjusting our lives based on that outlier. And all it was a mistake. Maybe by mistake, you were baking a cake. You had the taste for this wonderful cake. And by mistake, you put a little bit too much sugar in it. By mistake. By mistake, you put too much butter in it. Things happen. You get distracted. So you overdid it. Does that mean you stop baking cakes? Does that mean you don't know what you're doing? You could be a top chef and something can go wrong. You've seen the movie, you've seen the TV shows with Top Chef and all the other movie platforms dealing with cooking. Sometimes things go wrong. Does that mean they're not chefs? Does that mean that what they do is not valuable? That's incorrect. Things may be skewed. But we're looking at this representing the shadow hitting an object, you and I, moon or the earth, creating a shadow. And one of the things I talked about was how deep you and I can go into ourselves and yet be filled full of light. Let me check this timeline real quickly. Take a quick station identification break. That's right, by KD Royal Reign in the house. Watch this. One of the things we talked about was the antumbra. The antumbra. And I want to focus in on that. This part of the shadow that's projected, say, from the sun onto the moon or to Earth during an eclipse. By definition, watch what it says. The antumbra is the lighter area of a shadow that appears beyond the umbra at a certain distance from the object causing the shadow. It only exists if the light source has a larger diameter than the object. Wait 1 second. Let me read that part again. Let me just quickly go back to the definition. It says the antumbra, this area, right up in here, is the lighter area of the shadow that appears beyond the umbra at a certain distance from the object causing or casting the shadow. It only exists if, look at this. It only exists if the light source has a larger diameter than the object. Diameter represents that line that goes from one part of the circle to the end part of the circle, but it passes through the middle. And just to give you a quick illustration of what that looks like, here is a circle. That's the center. So the diameter goes right through. It passes through the center. It represents the diameter. So it says here that it only exists if the light source has a larger diameter than the object. So the object itself, you and I are the object. Watch this. The light source that's creating the shadow oftentimes feels larger than light. Here's the source here. It says it only exists if the source itself is larger in diameter. That says in these larger than life darkest hours, in these dark hours, the Antumbra manifests because the object that we're dealing with is larger than us. Its diameter is larger than us. So which means it brings out the Antumbra in you and I because the situation is so large. And it says it creates a light source within the shadow. Oh my goodness. Here it is. That's the Antumbra area. Because of the shadow that's cast upon us, we create the Antumbra area. As the sun hits Uri, as it hits us, it creates an Antumbra. Guess what? The Antumbra is filled full of light. Wow. It is the lighter part of the shadow, the lighter part of a shadow. Well, when you think about shadow, that's something dark, right? That's a dark area, it's a gray area. But it creates light. So the Antumbra part of us creates light in a dark time to help us get through it. You may think we can't see, or you can't see, or you can't feel or understand. In your darkest hour, guess what? There's always light there. There's always a place to show you how to get through what you're going through. How many of you know we need this? Because it's dark out here. There's fightings. There's confusion. People are not getting along. In the athletic arena, academic arena, heads are going at it. Commentators, sports commentators going at it. Players fighting against social media gurus. Nobody has any integrity anymore. That's dark. That's casting a shadow over the sport. Wow. In the midst of all that, you still can bring forth light. Watch this. The umbra, the shadow's dark center portion. So here is the umbra piece right in here. The shadow's dark piece. Don't you know that there has to be some major darkness for light to come forth? Why? Because light comes out of darkness. Yeah. In those darkest hours, light is going to come forth. In your darkest hour, light is going to come forth. I'm admonishing you not to go back into the darkness, into that deep, dark place. Oftentimes, we don't realize that we're actually coming out of the darkness. We're on our way out. But because we don't readily see it, we don't keep walking. We don't keep moving. We turn around and go back because I'm going too deep into this cave and I can't see my way. See, if I were back here in the chaos and confusion, I can see that. It appears to be light because I got something tangible. So what I want to do is go in this cave and turn around and go back. I want to turn around and go back because it appears to be light. All the negativity out there. Our young brothers joining certain associations because there appears to be light. So they end up getting caught up doing things that they shouldn't be doing. As opposed to saying, listen, I may be in this now, but I want to walk out of it. It's my destiny to walk out of darkness. It's my makeup. I can intuitively walk out of darkness because it's my inheritance. And so when we turn and go back into it, we just prolong the inevitable. We start walking backwards. And again, I have to continue to shout out the Prince of Peace because he said it so long ago when I met him that you have to keep walking forward no matter how bad it looks. You just have to keep moving. Even if you're at a slow walk, at a trot, you may be shagging. Shagging is not a jog. It's it's just almost running in place. You're moving. Just keep moving. Because all of the shadow that's behind you can eventually catch up with you if you stop moving. So, in the darkest ombre part of our life, just at this focal point here, where they intersect, right where they intersect, in this red area, that's a line where they intersect. It's a thin line. How many of you remember the old song, it's a thin line between love and hate? There's a thin line between darkness and light. And at any moment, light particles can show up. Quantum particles. Photons. Those light particles can show up at any time in your life and take you right out of your situation. You just have to know that it exists. I'm almost done with you. Penumbra. The lighter outer part of the shadow. In other words, that's that ring. That's that O-ring. That's that illuminated O-ring that you cast in darkness, in dark times. You may not see it. Others often see it. Let me show you this. You may be able to see this in the camera. Look at this. You see that ring, that light ring? Darkness is present. Right in the center. I know you can see that. Darkness is present. But around it is light. It's illuminating. That's the penumbra. Let me read its definition. I told you I just want to talk to you today. The lighter outer part of the shadow. Wow. The lighter outer part of the shadow. So even the shadow itself casts an outer part of it. Let me read this piece. That's what happens with us with our carbon-12 makeup. That's what happens with us. Look at this. Carbon-12 mechanics. Carbon-12 has an equal number of protons and neutrons, which results in a paired up spin, meaning the nucleus has no overall spin and is therefore not readily detectable in techniques like nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR. So its spin is not readily detectable. What does it sound like? Quantum. It's not readily detectable Sometimes in your toughest hour, guess what? You're not even readily detectable. People can't determine your speed nor your location, how fast you're spinning, where you're located. Don't you know that people try to sense if you're spiraling out of control? It's an energy. You would say to yourself, why would people think like that? Why would they want to do something like that? As we always say, death always try to live as well. Hate always try to live. Bad energy wants to live. Confusion and disrespect wants to live. But here at the Truth Session, listen, we want to love on you. Wind Down Wednesday, we want to love on you. We know this is a tough time for everybody. The one said it recently, everybody's going through something. Everybody is dealing with something. But when you have a safe place and a safe space, you want to take an opportunity to benefit from it. The Truth Session is a safe place for you, where if you just want to have a conversation, you can do that. If you want to take part in what we're doing, you can do that. We don't restrict you on the timeline unless you're placing bad information out there, negative energy, ostracizing someone, criticizing. If you're doing that, if you're causing chaos, mayhem, and madness, then we'll take the liberty to remove you from the Truth Session on Wind Down Wednesday. But listen, we haven't been getting that. We've been getting those who want to hear, those who want to participate, those who have been sowing. It's a part of it. Those who have been lending us their ear and their voices. Number one, KP Kimberly Purdue was on with the one recently, and listen, we had a time talking about our ABCs. Really powerful. Really powerful. Then we came back, started talking about R. Kelly. Very powerful information. Go back and watch those. What's going on, Priestess Lavelle in the house? We see you. Gratitude back unto you. But listen, I just wanted to stop by and kind of slow walk you through this and just remind you that things come to overshadow us, eclipse us. Sergeant at Arms in the house. What's going on? Was on what? Thank you, Prince of Peace. Sergeant at Arms. Gianna Etheridge was in the house. And listen, she was on, thank you for that. She was on Chopping It Up with the One. And she was releasing some very, very powerful thoughts and ideas. Her own summation of what was going on. And listen, if you didn't get an opportunity to see that last week, please go back and view that Wind Down Wednesday session. I think you will really enjoy it because the one dropped some very good nuggets on the timeline talking about maritable age and what was appropriate at the time. And so it's going to give you a totally different perspective as to what's going on now or what has already taken place. But listen, I just want to leave you with this, and we're going to get out of here. No situation is ever too big. No situation is ever too overshadowing where you can't get out of it, where you can't seek help. The last time I checked, the One has always made himself available in the middle of the night, early in the morning, late at night. I know that for a fact, that he's counseled people late at night while you resting upon your bed top. Guess what? He was counseling. While you were resting early in the morning, guess what? He was counseling. He was giving advice. He was bringing healing to a situation, removing chaos and confusion and bringing Shalom, bringing peace. Listen, I think this one ought to hold you. That's right, talking about the brain being a quantum carbon energy time system that allows us to reload, gather ourselves, retool, revitalize, re-energize, and become the quantum giant that you and I are. That's right. Quantum mechanics, quantum physics, quantum entanglement, quantum mathematics, quantum chemistry, wave particles. All of that is a part of our makeup. And we do it sometimes without even noticing it. And what I want to do is to get you to notice what you're operating in at all times so that you can get the most out of it. Listen, with that being said, hold what you got. Muse over it.
Hold it.
Ponder over it.
Ponder on it. Hold it.
Hold it.
Muse on
Come on.
it. Ponder on it.
Yeah, say that again.
Hold it. Muse upon it. Ponder on it. Hold it. Muse upon it. Ponder on it.
But by all means, govern yourselves accordingly. And until next time, Shalom Aleichem, Mishpachah. Family, don't forget about the one. Sow accordingly. Thank you.